Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're joined by Eva Hussain, who's Polaron's director and founder, as well as Emilie Pause, who is our project and client liaison officer for German citizenship. Today, they're going to be telling us about a pathway to German citizenship through declaration. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie, and welcome, Emilie. We have covered during our previous sessions about the changes in the German law, as well as different pathways of people, mostly of German heritage, that can reclaim it. One of them is declaration. Emilie, could you tell us what it means and how does one go about getting it? Of course, we'd encourage people to work through Polaron, but what's the eligibility criteria and what is the process?
So for declaration, it's meant to allow for women to pass on citizenship. Before 75, previously women weren't allowed to pass on citizenship. So this goes all the way back to if you're born after the 23rd of the 5th, 1949, you can now receive your citizenship from a German mother. So if your mother was born before that and you were born after, you can now apply for citizenship, even if your mother was born after then. But that's sort of the cutoff of your generation. Okay. It also includes people, for example, women lost their German citizenship if they married a foreign citizen. So it now includes these women that actually lost their citizenship, and they don't have to get their citizenship back, but descendants of them can get the citizenship.
So it kind of skips a generation. And what do you actually declare? Why is it called declaration, Emilie?
It's called declaration because you're declaring that you are an ancestor of a German woman, and you were born after the 23rd of the 5th, 1949 and before 75.
Okay. And at the end of the process, you do receive your German citizenship certificate, but is it from birth or how is it? What's the declaration in terms of the timeline of what's happened or may have happened with loss of citizenship previously?
So applicants are considered German from the moment they hand in their application. So if they're approved from the moment the application went in, which is actually very good news because there's no way you could have lost your citizenship previously. So in other processes, you could potentially not be eligible because of a naturalization in the family or even army service in a foreign army. So this isn't the case for declaration. It's from the moment you hand it in, you are considered German. So you also don't lose your current citizenship. So Germany doesn't really like dual citizenship, but they do allow it in this case because they're trying to make up for past misgivings.
Right. And so you're not, essentially you're not born German, but you become German from the day you declare that you are German, essentially, and once you're approved by the German government.
It's a type of naturalization in a way.
But it does not require you to renounce your current citizenship, and it's relatively simple in terms of what happens. But what does happen, Emilie? What sort of documents would you have to provide to prove, firstly, that you had German mother, I guess, one of the requirements, and secondly, that you were not born German, because that's the other thing I guess you need to show to the German government, is that right?
Exactly. And it's also important to consider that if your father was German at the time of birth, this doesn't work for you. So declaration can't be used. So you would have to prove your heritage and your lineage. That's usually done through things like birth certificates and marriage certificates. You would have to have access to your ancestors' birth and marriage certificates, or we can assist with research in Germany if you're missing German documents. We would also have to prove the citizenship of the mother or the grandmother of the ancestor. That can also be done through birth certificates and marriage certificates and residential documents. So it's very broad, and Germany does want to encourage people to apply for this so they don't make it too difficult. But you do have to have quite a few documents from your ancestors.
To some extent, and what you're describing sounds like it's a little bit discretionary. In other words, you need to prove kinship and provide documents, as you said, proving events over time. And I guess this is where we're coming, where we not only give people guidance of what to get, but also, we help them find documents if they don't have them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for explaining how declaration works, and we'll speak to you next time.
Thank you, Eva.